What is up, you guys? This is Game Hunter. I'm on the hunt for the latest gaming news and gaming releases. So I recently did a video going on about 23 games for PS Plus for PlayStation 5 gamers this November. I then planned to do the exact same thing for Game Pass on Xbox, but I actually ended up coming across a video from a guy named Jay Wood, and I saw his video and just agreed with everything he said. He's got the best 25 Xbox Game Pass releases, and I'm just going to link his channel in the description. Check out the video, guys. It's really great. I agree with pretty much every single thing that he said in the order that he said it, and hope you enjoy.
No doubt about it, Xbox Game Pass is truly an amazing subscription service with loads of great games and a lot of variety to choose from. They are constantly adding in high quality games, and this is exactly why I do have to update my Xbox Game Pass list every 6 months. This time though was probably the hardest time I've had trying to compile a list to just 25 games, because there are so many good ones to choose from. But I did manage to narrow it down to the top 25 best games available on Xbox Game Pass right now. With that said, I did not include Halo, Gears, or Forza because we all know those are great games. In fact, I would place all of those in my top 10 or even top 5 because they are that good. So do keep that in mind going forward. That's the great thing about Xbox Game Pass though, and that we can discover new games to play. With that said though, do keep in mind that all of this is only my opinion, but let's get right into the list. At number 25, I have Dead Cells, a highly interesting roguelike Metroidvania style game. That does sound like a weird combination, but I can assure you, when it comes to Dead Cells, they somehow perfectly fit together. The reason it works so well is because in Dead Cells, with each life you have, you can unlock new abilities and find shortcuts that you can use during the next playthrough. It's an addictive little loop, it's the right amount of challenge, and it's insanely fun. Deliverance Kingdom Come is a very intriguing game. A lot of the times when you see big Western RPGs, they are often set in a fantasy setting, though with Deliverance it shakes everything up by really diving into realism. This is with absolutely everything in the game, including the story, its characters, and the combat. You don't play as some hero destined to save the world, and in fact you feel like just an everyday average person. The combat as well is real and gory, but the thing that stands out the most to me is its really well told story. So if you do like Western RPGs and you want something just a little bit different, then Deliverance may be the perfect game for you. At first glance, Rime appears to be a bit of an eco-clone, and while they do share some similarities, Rime stands tall as a great game and unique to itself. It's an emotional adventure game with light platforming and thought-provoking puzzles. It's not just emotional though because of its story and interactions, because it does have a beautiful art style with breathtaking visuals that really absorbs you into the world, and that is something that you want in a good adventure game. It's a world that you want to explore, and it never feels like a chore. Rime is absolutely a great game from beginning to end. Sea of Thieves may have had a rough launch, being a little bare bones when it came to content, but over time Sea of Thieves really turned out to be a great game. Sea of Thieves was always fun when it came to its core gameplay, sailing the sea, hunting for hidden treasure, and getting into naval battles. You really do feel as if you're a pirate. There is nothing else in the market quite like it, and seriously, the water in this game is by far the best I've seen in any video game. It truly is amazing. But with all of the added content such as the story, pets, fishing, and so much more, Sea of Thieves truly is one of the best adventure games available right now. Insomniac Games has always made really fun games, and Sunset Overdrive is no exception. As soon as you step into the city of Sunset Overdrive, you realize that it's going to be chaotic fun, and I mean the city itself is truly like your playground. You can even bounce on trees as if they're trampolines, and zip across power lines as you fight off hordes of zombie-like creatures. And with true Insomniac flair, you get a ton of crazy weapons and gadgets to experiment with. For whatever reason, Sunset Overdrive never really got the attention it deserved, but I'm telling you right now, I believe this is a must-play game for any Xbox fan. Metal Gear Solid will go down as one of the best gaming franchises to ever exist, and Metal Gear Solid 5 very well could be the last big Metal Gear game, or at least attached to Hideo Kojima, the mastermind of this franchise. Luckily, Metal Gear Solid 5 went out with a bang. For the first time ever, Metal Gear is set in a big open world, but still managed to mix in that stealth espionage gameplay that it's so well known for. And even the story is highly interesting with memorable villains and characters, and plenty of twists along the way. With that said though, whether or not you have ever played any of the previous Metal Gear games, I think you can find a lot of enjoyment with the 5th title. The two best puzzle games of all time, in my opinion, are Portal and The Talos Principle. I absolutely love these games, so when The Talos Principle came over to Xbox Game Pass, I was thrilled that more people would get to play this masterpiece of a game. It's extremely unique in how the puzzles work, and it can be incredibly difficult at times as it introduces you to new mechanics, but I will tell you, once you figure out one of the more mind-bending puzzles, you will feel like a genius. If you are looking for a good puzzle game though, then you're not going to find much better than The Talos Principle. I think we have all heard about Minecraft by this point. I mean, it has sold more than 200 million copies worldwide. Minecraft Dungeons, though, is a completely different game, being a spin-off which is more similar to something like Diablo. And that's the thing, mixing in that Minecraft experience with a dungeon crawler was brilliant, as they feel perfect together. Minecraft Dungeons isn't hard to get into either, but it has enough depth for everybody to enjoy, from a casual gamer to even a seasoned veteran. And I think that is where Minecraft Dungeons shines. It is best as a cooperative multiplayer game, and it's just a ton of fun to play with family or friends. Also do keep in mind that Minecraft is also available on Xbox Game Pass, so you can play that as well. I always tell people that every gamer should experience Kingdom Hearts at least once, and now it's easier than ever before, as the entire Kingdom Hearts franchise is available on Xbox Game Pass. Sure, Kingdom Hearts has a convoluted story that doesn't always make sense, but with that said, it's still very entertaining with interesting characters, and the gameplay is phenomenal, especially with Kingdom Hearts 3. That game in particular was a big step up in terms of production values, and I would highly recommend Kingdom Hearts. Gamers may love their big AAA games, but AA games here recently have really been on the rise with some very high quality games. One such game being A Plague Tale. A Plague Tale is just a good game all around. It has a good emotional story about a girl traveling a plague-ridden world to save her brother, and it is one of the more engaging story-driven games in recent years. The thing is, it also has fun stealth-based gameplay, and we really don't have that many of those type of games. A Plague Tale is a true hidden gem and definitely worth a try if you're looking for a good story-driven game. In my opinion, Killer Instinct is the best fighting game that I have ever played. I absolutely love this game, and it's possibly my favorite game of the entire generation. The only reason I'm not ranking it higher is because I know not everybody loves fighting games the way I do. With that said though, KI has a very creative cast of characters ranging from a toad to an alien and even a robot dinosaur. Each one has a very unique playstyle, and the combos are fast and precise, with a great netcode to go along with it. Killer Instinct may be a little older now, but it stands the test of time, and if you like fighting games, do yourself a favor and go check out Killer Instinct. Outer Wilds is probably the most surprising game on this list because, quite honestly, I never expected this game to be as good as it is. I would even go so far as to say that the Outer Wilds is a masterpiece. It really is that good. What exactly do you do though? Well, you explore the universe and try to unlock all of its secrets and what the alien species, the Nomai, is. It's also got a Groundhog Day effect happening, so every 20 minutes the universe explodes and you restart, but why exactly is all of this happening? Well, that's something you will need to find out while you explore the rich universe of Outer Wilds yourself. Streets of Rage may have vanished from gaming for more than 2 decades, but with Streets of Rage 4, it came back in a big way. Not only does Streets of Rage 4 look better than ever, but it still holds onto that classic beat-em-up formula that made the franchise so good in the first place. In fact, you can even unlock old classic Streets of Rage characters with the 16-bit art style, which is both comical as well as cool. This game can be very challenging depending on what difficulty you play on. It's one of the best couch co-op games on the market, and it never feels stale thanks to several unique characters with their own playstyle. Streets of Rage 4 is without a doubt one of those games that anybody can pick up and play. If you're looking for a big game that you can put hundreds of hours into, Monster Hunter World might be a good idea for you to check out. Monster Hunter World is an action RPG all about, well, hunting monsters, and these monsters are incredibly well designed both from a visual standpoint as well as their lifelike animations. These really do feel like live creatures in a lived-in world, though the thing about Monster Hunter is that it has a really addictive gameplay loop. See, you hunt the monsters in order to upgrade your gear, and you're never really guaranteed specific item drops, so gathering those special items that you need can take quite a while. This is why Monster Hunter World can be a bit grindy, but nonetheless, thanks to its fun combat system, several different playstyles, and cooperative gameplay, Monster Hunter World is always fun. Hollow Knight very well could end up going down as one of the best Metroidvania-style games ever made, which is a huge statement, but it's absolutely true. Hollow Knight is just a fantastic game, and it's pretty much the Dark Souls of the genre. There are 3 components to Hollow Knight that I really love though. It's challenging with a risk-reward mechanic, the boss encounters are brilliantly done, and the combat is perfection. There is just so much more to Hollow Knight than that though, but truly Hollow Knight is an all-time great game and a must-play for fans of the genre. I really did not understand all of the buzz around Rocket League when it first released. I looked at it and I thought, that doesn't look interesting at all, or at least until I played it. Now though, I think that Rocket League is the best sports game in gaming right now. Sure, it looks like everybody is just chasing a ball, but once you know what you're doing, Rocket League has a lot of depth to it, as you fly around with your boosters and learn to play as a team. With that said, it is one of those special games that both casual players as well as the more hardcore players can enjoy. Rocket League is just simply fun. Speaking of games that are simply fun, we have Devil May Cry 5, a big AAA hack and slash game, and Devil May Cry is arguably the king of this genre. I absolutely love how the combos work in this game though, because it almost feels like you're playing a fighting game. You can just put all of these crazy combos together, and as you unlock more abilities, they just get crazier and crazier. And that is one thing about Devil May Cry 5. It's not just about beating your opponents, but rather it's about how stylish you can be while embarrassing your enemy. That is what it's all about, and Devil May Cry 5 is just insanely fun. It also helps that the characters and story is interesting as well. Maybe not mind-blowing, but it is entertaining. Obsidian Entertainment has done it once again, releasing another classic RPG, The Outer Worlds. It's almost like a mix between Fallout and Mass Effect. Yes, it has that Fallout type world and sense of humor, while you travel planet to planet with your comrades, and that's something that The Outer Worlds excels in. Like many Obsidian games, the writing is top-notch with interesting characters, and because you're choosing your own adventure, you can absolutely be your everyday hero, saving the universe, or you can just be a bumbling idiot. It's completely your choice. Final Fantasy is one of my all-time favorite franchises, and luckily Xbox Game Pass has 2 great Final Fantasy games. You have the newest installment in the franchise with Final Fantasy XV Royal Edition, as well as the classic Final Fantasy IX. I do know that Final Fantasy XV can be a bit polarizing, but I do think it's a great game and it has drastically improved with the Royal Edition, having a much more fleshed out story and characters. And of course 9 is a classic for a reason. Which should you end up playing though? I would honestly say both, but if you want a more modern and action-oriented game, then definitely go with 15. But if you like a more turn-based experience, then go with 9. Both are great in my opinion though. Xbox has somehow managed to get Sega to launch Yakuza 0 into Xbox Game Pass, and this game is just mind-blowing when it comes to its story. I know when you see it, it looks like a really goofy game, and at times, well, it can be. I mean, you can beat people up with a motorcycle, but when it comes to its story, I don't know if I can point to any game that has a better story than Yakuza 0. I mean, it truly is phenomenal with all of the twists and turns along the way. With that said, the voice acting is all Japanese, and I know that can be a turnoff for some people, and I'm not a big fan of that either, but you do get used to it, and once you do, you will not be able to put this game down. Now, Yakuza 0 does have fun gameplay as well, with its beat-em-up style combat and various activities that you can do across the city. And hey, once you finish up with Yakuza 0, you can then go check out Yakuza Kiwami, which is also on Xbox Game Pass. And to start off with the top 5, we have Hellblade. At first glance, this looks like a big AAA game, but surprisingly, Hellblade is a AA game developed by just 20 people from Ninja Theory. It's absolutely mind-blowing what they did with Hellblade. The facial animations are among the best in the industry, and I really have to applaud the actress Melina Jorgens on what she managed to do with the protagonist. It's just tremendous work, and Hellblade not only has a gripping story, but it also has fun hack-and-slash combat with a mix of puzzles here and there. The sound effects are top-notch, and this is a very psychological game, so it also can make you think just a little bit more deeply. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a true AAA Metroidvania-style game. I already thought that Ori and the Blind Forest was arguably the best Metroidvania game thanks to its platforming, but somehow Moon Studios improved absolutely everything with the sequel. The platforming is even better this time around, which is hard to believe, and with the boss encounters that actually emphasize platforming can be incredibly difficult on harder difficulties. The biggest improvement though is with the combat, which is just much better this time around, and it's why I now believe that Will of the Wisps has taken the crown of being the best Metroidvania game to ever be made. And come on, this game just looks absolutely gorgeous. I was thrilled when Xbox announced that Nier Automata was coming to Xbox Game Pass. Nier Automata is without a doubt a masterpiece. It excels at everything it does. The hack-and-slash combat is fun and frantic, and the gameplay does have a lot of variety with shoot-'em-up sections as well. The story is beautiful and memorable, it has one of the best soundtracks in games, and I still listen to it to this day. Just everything about this game was so good, and the carnival section is one of my favorite moments in any video game. And I think that is something about Nier, that it somehow absorbed me completely into its world, which is hard to do. It's just very atmospheric, though I always do warn new players, you do have to beat this game 3 times before it's complete. Don't worry though, each playthrough is completely different, so it's just not truly over until you beat it 3 times. Just think of them as chapters instead of the end. I was actually shocked when I saw Red Dead Redemption 2 make its way over to Xbox Game Pass. I mean, this is about as AAA of a game that you can possibly get. Like 2,000 developers worked on this game, and you're not going to find many games that are even close to having the same quality that Red Dead Redemption 2 has. It's like every little thing was animated in this game, and even though it can be a little slow-paced because of that, it's highly impressive. The world is huge, and there's tons of things to do in the world, whether you want to hunt, fish, or just simply explore. And that's the thing about Red Dead Redemption 2. A lot of the times with big open world games, it almost seems like there are sacrifices in other areas, and that is just not the case with Red Dead Redemption 2. The story is just phenomenal with a colorful cast of characters, and Red Dead Redemption 2 will ultimately go down as one of the best games of the entire decade. And number 1 goes to none other than The Witcher 3, one of the greatest RPGs to ever be made. There are a lot of great RPGs on the market, but The Witcher 3 is truly a special game, and just everything about it is such high quality. Not only is the main quest and story really good, but somehow CD Projekt Red managed to make the side quests more interesting than several other games' main quests. That's a true achievement there, and even the combat I really enjoyed thanks to how unique and different it is from other games. At the end of the day, The Witcher 3 is not just one of the best RPGs though, it's one of the best games, period.